Welcome back to Open Line. We were talking all about Metro government tonight. We just had the fire department on. Now we have the Metro Action Commission on. An opportunity just to learn about these departments, what they do. And we're happy to have Lisa McCready and Marvin Cox. Marvin Cox is the Director of Community Programs. Lisa McCready, also with the Metro Action Commission. Thank you both for being with us. You've been on before. You're veterans. So let's talk about Metro Action Commission. Say people don't know what you do. How big are you? How are you funded? What does the Metro Action Commission do?
Okay. We have 3 funding streams. We are funded by the state, locally, and federally. And so we have the Head Start program, which is about $10 million. Our total budget is $27 million. And so 10 of it comes through Head Start, and the remaining comes through community services. And so we have Head Start, Early Head Start, Community Services, which helps families, income-eligible families. And so our Head Start and Early Head Start program is for children from birth to 4. In our Community Services program, it helps families with rent, mortgage, utilities, and also the Adult Education program is in that department, along with our Summer Food Service program, which we just completed. That's the federally funded program that provides school lunches for children during the summer months when school is not in session. And so that's who we are. We have 7 Head Start locations throughout the city of Nashville. We have our main site, which is in the Clifford Allen building, which is on 2nd Avenue North, which is where we receive all of the customers that come in for, as I said earlier, help with rent, mortgage. Our adult education program classes are in that building as well, and all of our administrative offices are there. And
so the need that you all must see, I mean, you're obviously on the front lines of this. And I'll ask you, Marvin, as head of outreach community programs, I mean, what is the need now? How is it compared to what it was 5 years ago? And are things getting better? Are they getting worse as we're growing? I mean, what is the need you're seeing out there?
Well, we're seeing it in two particular areas. Of course, the adult education piece is the piece that we're always looking at, because there are individuals who, for some reason, did not complete their high school education. So we are looking for those particular individuals to assist them in getting their high school equivalency. And then not only just stopping there, but building a foundation to move them toward employment or post-secondary education, to let them know there are opportunities still out there. And of course, then we have our senior population that we always want to take care of, because those are individuals that are on fixed income, and we look at them through our low-income home energy assistance program, which is something we really want to let individuals know about. We know it's still 90 degrees weather-wise, and the energy bills and gas bills can be high this time of year, so we want to make sure that those seniors know about our particular programs that we operate.
Is it just seniors? So so let's take some of the programs, and one is the energy funds for energy payments. So that is something, we've done stories about it, but when it's really cold or really hot, bills are much higher, and there's a way that Metro helps people with these bills, right?
That's correct.
How does that work? If somebody out there is thinking they need help, they've just gotten a high bill, they're expecting high bills this winter, how does that work?
Individuals can come 2 ways. One, they can walk in, or they can mail in their application. As a matter of fact, the application is available online as well, so all they would need to do is just print off the application. The requirements on the back of the application, we will need their most recent bill, social security numbers of everyone in the household, and also documentation of their income. If they get paid bi-weekly, of course we'll need 4 checks, and they get paid weekly, we will need 8 checks. So that will be the process. So they don't necessarily have to come to our building. They can mail that application into our office.
And how much help could they get?
It'll range based on their income, number of person in their household. If it's vulnerable, the minimum amount is $300, the max is $600.
A month?
No, one-time assistance. It will vary based on the family situation.
Okay, and how likely is it that they would get help? I mean, so they have to fill all this out. What percentage of people that fill stuff out get help?
It's going to be based on their income, so certainly we have to look at their income and the other requirements for the actual program, and certainly that information is listed on the back of the application based on their gross income.
There's enough money in the program that a lot of people, I mean, so if you fill it out, there's a really good chance, obviously you have to meet requirements, but there's a good chance there's going to be money there for you.
Yes, we have funding available right now, yes sir.
Okay, great. And then the education programs. That's the other big part of this.
It is.
And let's talk more about that. What's important there?
Well, I'll start with the early Head Start. That's the newest program that we have with Metro Action. That helps expectant moms when they're, of course, pregnant. And so what we have discovered is that the prenatal care is just as important, before the child arrives as much as when the child actually comes. And so we have some really unique partnerships with Metro Health Department and some other resources here in the city that help, especially new moms, just to understand their bodies and understand the things that they need to do in order to ensure that their child is as healthy as the child can be. And so after that, the continuum of care is through some partnerships that we have with child care agencies here in our city. And so we provide the infant and toddler care through our early Head Start partnerships or providers here in the city to where they can provide that care. We also have the Head Start program, which is for children who are 3 and 4 years old. So essentially a person or a child could go from birth all the way to 4 in a Metro Action Commission Head Start or early Head Start program. And so it's not just to ensure that children are ready intellectually. We also do a very good job with making sure that the social pieces that children actually also need as they continue through their academic career are also met. We also meet the needs of the families. And so, you may have families who have had children, young children, and all they know is having the children, at home, or so there are separation anxieties and just different unique things that happen just with having young children in the home. And so we're there to help with that as well. We want children, or families in particular, parents in particular, to walk away feeling like they can advocate for their child throughout their entire educational career. And so that's what we're here for. That is an income-based program, and so there is an income requirement there. And so we have 1,485 children who are enrolled in the Head Start program at 7 locations, and then 71 families that are a part of our early Head Start program.
And obviously, we've heard so much about cuts. We've heard so much about the federal government struggling to pass a budget and meet its obligations.
Absolutely.
We've heard a lot, about how local governments are tightening things. What has that meant for you all in the last 5 years or so?
It
what
meant
have you
that
seen?
sometimes we had to do the same amount of work for less. We had to watch the resolutions as they go through Congress just to make sure that the funding would be the same or better. We went through what's called a continuing resolution for many, many years where the money did not change at all. We had to continue to do more with less, essentially. And so, we're always being very watchful with what's going on in Washington to ensure that we have enough funding available. The way that Head Start is structured, it has to have support. We have incredible support from the Nashville city government because there is a match that is required with the Head Start and early Head Start grants. And so there's a 20% match. And so the city of Nashville, they always step up and make sure that we are able to have that match so that we can get the funding. Head Start alone does not cover all of the expenses of having a child in Head Start. So it is important that we have other partnerships and arrangements such as what we have with the city of Nashville.
When people hear, the budget's here and we need to cut, and sometimes, it's these programs that are cut some of the soonest. What would you say, as people, that are on the front lines that see this every day, what are some of the stories that kind of stand out to you and that you would want to convey to, to everybody else about just the impact your work is having?
We, just time and time again, we have families to come and tell us that we were their last hope, and that had we not been there to provide whatever service that they had, they would not have been able to do some of the things that they've done. They would not have been able to feed their children. They would not have been able to guarantee a safe location for their child to be during the day while they're at work. They would not have been able to have electricity. We hear our senior population, a lot of them are really proud people and have been able to handle their bills on their own, and just, they're having to make the decision between eating and maybe medication. And so you have a program like us to where we're rising to the occasion and trying to make sure that we're being good stewards of the funding that we have, and also making sure that we are able to serve as many people as we can serve. And so time and time again, we hear those stories. We hear people wanting to give back to us, you know, but of course we can't accept any funds back because we're federally funded. But you know, you hear all these wonderful stories. Gone are the days of people who want to just sit back and just get stuff. I mean, that's not the total. That's not a good representation of the families that we serve. These are people
and
who
yet
are
that
working
is a
every day.
representation that's out there. I mean, it's an often repeated
Absolutely.
mantra, but that's not what you're seeing.
That is not the reality. That is absolutely not our reality. I mean, surely you have some that are not as motivated as others, but when you look at the incomes of the families and what they're having to do, if they have any issues such as rising gas prices or food cost or a blown tire, that can just wreak havoc on a person's budget. And it would just, you know, if we didn't have safety nets like ours, they would be in serious danger, many of them.
All right, we have to take a break. If you have a question for the Metro Action Commission, there's the number, 737-PLUS, 737-7587. Take a break. Be back with more right after this.